Hello and welcome to my channel, Random Knowledge. And this is my very first video, so obviously it's not going to be the greatest video ever. In this video, we're talking about the friendship and falling out between Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and Harry Houdini. It does involve aspects of the occult, specifically spiritualism. Now, this channel isn't really about the validity of those things, but this is an interesting historical event. With that in mind, let's get into the video. Harry Houdini would be born Erich Weiss in Austria-Hungary in 1874, but would move with his family to the United States in 1878. He would begin his magic career in the early 1890s, but found limited success. He was really only considered average at sleight of hand, which is required for a lot of magic, but he would find that he had a knack for escapology, which was the practice of escaping from handcuffs and other seemingly inescapable devices. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was born in 1859 in Edinburgh, Scotland, but he would begin his career as a medical doctor. It was in 1887 that he would publish his first Sherlock Holmes novel, A Study in Scarlet. Now, despite the supreme rational thinking of the Holmes character, Doyle himself was a devoted spiritualist. Spiritualism really grew in the late 1800s, with the mysteries of the world seemingly being solved on an everyday because of science and technological advancement. Spiritualism offered some hope that there were still mysteries out there. Spiritualism would see an even greater surge in popularity after the huge devastation and loss of life during World War I. Houdini himself was open to spiritualism and would often attend seances and other spiritualist events, but he would always see through the tricks employed by the mediums to fool their audiences. It was 1920 when Doyle and Houdini would meet. While on tour in Europe, Houdini would send Doyle a copy of his book, The Unmasking of Robert Houdin. Robert Houdin being the legendary French magician that actually inspired Houdini's stage name. Houdini had been a fan of Doyle's works on spiritualism for a while, and soon after sending him the book, Doyle would attend one of Houdini's performances and the two would meet. Their friendship quickly blossomed, with the two arguing over the merits of spiritualism, with Houdini playing the skeptic and Doyle obviously the believer. When Houdini returned home, the pair remained in contact, and in 1922, while Doyle was in the United States to give lectures on spiritualism, Houdini and his wife Bess would invite Doyle and his wife Jean to meet with them on vacation in Atlantic City. And it was here that the event that destroyed their friendship would take place. See, Jean Doyle was a practicing medium, and she offered to contact Cecilia, which was Houdini's deceased mother, through a process called automatic writing. Automatic writing is basically where you take a sheet of paper and allow the deceased to use your body to send messages to the people that are still alive. Bess had warned her husband that Jean had been fishing for information about his past and his mother and his relationship, but despite all this, Houdini decided to let the seance go on. There were several problems with this seance, however. For one thing, Cecilia did not speak English very well, yet somehow she contacted them in English. Another problem was the large sign of the cross that Cecilia supposedly wrote on the paper. The problem with this is that Cecilia was very devoutly Jewish. But despite all these problems, Houdini decided to be polite and simply thanked them for the evening. The problem arose when Doyle decided to tell the press that he had converted Houdini to spiritualism, and now Houdini was a believer. This didn't sit right with Houdini. So Houdini had to respond by writing an article and essentially said that he had never encountered communication from the dead and remained more skeptical than ever. This angered Doyle because, well, in essence, it called Doyle and his wife frauds. So, obviously, their friendship was destroyed. Now, Houdini would die in 1926, but between the time of the event in Atlantic City and his ultimate passing, Houdini would continue to expose fake mediums everywhere he went. He would give lectures on the subject about their techniques and also appear in crowds in disguise to try to expose them. For his part, Doyle continued to lecture and tour and give talks on spiritualism throughout the remainder of his life. So that is the video. This is obviously my first video. As I said, I know it's obviously not the greatest video, but you know, if somehow you stumbled across this and want to support somebody who's just starting out, then you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that. I plan on making a bunch more videos, not all of them history, some of them more science or technology or whatever I think is interesting. That's why this is called Random Knowledge. So, you know, I have all kinds of videos that I'd like to get to. I think one of them might be just like how soap works. Got another one I'm thinking of doing about the time that Benjamin Franklin was in France to get support for the American Revolution, and his, let's say, proclivities to be a bit of a ladies' man, and how the French women were quite taken with him. Other videos I have planned are the FDA's decision to ban most of the antibacterial substances and what was behind that. I don't know. I have a list. I can't think now that I'm actually doing the video. But, you know, again, if you want to help somebody who's just starting out, I really appreciate it. So thanks again. And until next time, this is Random Knowledge.